Welcome to another episode of Tomacek Financial Podcast Series. I'm happy today because, hey, it's been 6 weeks. We've been together. It's been such a long time. We've took some time away. We're back and forth. We were never on the same week. So we're happy to have you back. Pierre Tomacek from Tomacek Financials. How are you?
Good to be back and happy to be here.
Good. Now you're in the hot seat today. So we're, you did a really good job in hosting as well. So I'm most proud. I can now leave leave the throne to you, and you can take over from there. I'm happy to do that. Right?
No, not at all.
So excellent job. So. I spent some time away and I was thinking about something interesting that a lot of people are asking these days, and that is about retirement planning. And so often when we talk about retirement, people are talking about, hey, we should be planning for retirement maybe in our 50s or 60s. But, first of all, when should we start planning for retirement, and how much we should be getting ourselves equipped for in terms of that retirement age?
My answer is always yesterday. Right? You should be planning sooner rather than later. It's not to say that in your 50s that all is doom, but the effects of compounding interest has less time for it to actually compound. So the earlier, the better. One of the things, I'm sure you've heard that magical number that Canadians always feel that they need $1 million. Actually, that number is increased. The average Canadian, as a result of a BMO study in 2020, said they need about $1.7 million to retire and feel comfortable during retirement.
So, 1.7 million can just come overnight, just to say. So the earliest possible time that you can start working towards that, the better, because, life is unpredictable.
Definitely.
And if you have more time, you have more risk, I guess, to your disposal. You can tolerate more risk, I should say. Your portfolio can change as much as possible so that you can achieve that goal. And I think, 1.7 million being that magical number, it's, as we often say here, it's not a one size fits all. Definitely. Because I might have a different lifestyle compared to others. People's lifestyle changes, right? So how do you approach that when you have something like that?
It's funny that you mentioned that, because I did a webinar not too long ago with some actual pension people from Hoop, and asked them the same thing. There was a whole bunch of people on in the webinar, in the Zoom webinar, and surprisingly, they came up with that $1 million, $1.5 million number, and I said to them, okay. That's all fine and dandy, but most likely you're probably not going to need $1 million. It's going to depend on terms of what you said. What's going to be your retirement lifestyle? Right? Normally, what they say is that you should be spending, or in terms of retirement income needs, should be around 60 to 70% of your pre-retirement income. And the main reason is generally speaking, at retirement, hopefully you've paid off your mortgage, and your mortgage is roughly about 30 or 40% of your gross income. So your retirement income needs will decrease, hopefully. Furthermore, the government will be providing you with government retirement income, such as CPP, OAS, and if you're lucky enough, if you're part of the 40+% of Canadians who have a company pension, then that's an added source of income. So therefore, your retirement income needs, decrease, right? You may need, let's say, $100,000 of retirement income when you retire. Well, then maybe CPP will replace about 20,000 of that. So now we're down to 80, and then OAS may replace about 10,000 of that sometime in the future. So now we're down to $70,000 dollars. And then if you've got a company pension, then that will
further.
come down even further.
Right.
And then I started with the 100,000. I should have actually reduced it by 60 to 70% because hopefully you've got your mortgage paid off. So instead of needing 100, you might need 60 to $70,000.
So it really depends, because it can be someone who wants to go to all 7 continents during the retirement age, and then there can be someone like you who want to play golf from sunrise to sunset.
That is correct.
So playing golf from sunrise to sunset, you might not need as much income, just need to know, hey, this is my subscription fee for all the golf courses across Ontario.
But as you know, when I took you golfing, it may be even costlier for me.
I know.
If you're going to be coming with me on a
it's
on
true,
a
because
weekly basis.
I don't like to do all the walking. I have to go use the cart.
that is correct. But you bring up a great point, right?
Yeah.
So your retirement lifestyle will determine how much income that you will need. So a lot of times what may happen is that I've said that we're going to reduce our retirement income needs by 60 to 70%, but sometimes we've delayed the trip around the world, right? And maybe our retirement income need will increase during retirement.
And I guess it also plays a factor if you want to retire early. That's another important factor, because now you have less time to work towards that goal, right?
Exactly.
So that depends on how much you need. And as you said, it might be on a decreasing basis. Initially, for the first 10 years of retirement, you might need a 60, 70,000, but as you get older, you start to do less. And you might need less.
And you bring up a good point. When I look at retirement and I walk through my clients when they get to that pre-retirement and retirement age, I find there's like 3 phases or 3 stages of retirement, right? And we call it kind of the early years from like 60 to about 70, kind of called the go-go years. Hopefully we're still active. Golfing every day. I've got my health and all that. So at that time, and I'm probably traveling a great deal. At that time, I need as much income as possible. And then the second phase, right? I call them the slow go years, right? So from, let's say, around 70 to 80. Okay, I'm not golfing every day anymore. I'm still of golfing, and
but the knees are not cooperating.
Knees are not cooperating right now, so I can't even imagine at 70 to 80. But I'm golfing maybe once a week, right? As opposed to 3 or 4 times a week. So my retirement income needs decrease, and then, God willing, the last stage, which is 80 onwards, right? And at that particular time, I'm not golfing at all. I'm watching golf on TV, on TV, maybe taking care of the grandkids and babysitting. So further, my income needs will decrease. But having said that, I'm hoping that I have my health. What if I don't? Right. And during retirement, my group medical, my group dental is gone. So now I'm going to need a lot of medical needs or medical insurance. And now my medical costs could be a whole lot more. So therefore, maybe during the slow go or the no-go years, 80 plus, I'm going to need more money than I needed during the go-go years of 60 to 70. So it depends.
It depends. And we're talking about this on this plan. So how do you work with your clients in terms of using special vehicles, using vehicles in quotes here, to help them? Like, what are some of the things that you identify are useful in planning for retirement? So our audience, they're watching and they want to know, hey, I want to start planning for my retirement. What are some of the things that I can utilize?
Yeah, so there's a whole bunch of investment vehicles, types of accounts. I mean, we have what is known as registered accounts, and these types of accounts are kind of tax favored from the government standpoint. So either you pay no tax, or you defer paying tax and potentially get a tax deduction. So probably the number one would probably be the RRSP, Registered Retirement Savings Account. So that may be a good vehicle to utilize. Also, maybe a tax-free savings account may be also a good vehicle. And don't forget your house. Some people don't, not that I want to use the equity in your house as, a retirement savings plan, but you want to try to be debt free during retirement. So maybe we might sacrifice a bit on the savings aspects, but to ensure that we are mortgage free during retirement.
Yeah, because you don't want to be paying those significant debts at that time. You want to be able to enjoy your retirement as possible.
Exactly.
And speaking of enjoying retirement, there are certain challenges in getting there. Can you give us like a couple maybe of challenges that average Canadians will face planning for that long phase that is to retirement?
Okay, so it's based on the individual, but many challenges that you're going to find is not having enough, right? To save, right? Because a lot of people will say, I need $1 million by retirement. And if retirement is in about 20 years and you're going to start saving right now with the effect of compounding, you're probably going to need to save about $1,000 on a monthly basis and maybe generate about 9 to 10%. So that creates a whole bunch of problem. Where am I finding $1,000, right? Hopefully if it's between you and your spouse, maybe we're going to split that $500 each. Maybe that's more manageable. But a 9 or 10% rate of return, that's significant. That means the only way you can do that is by taking on a great deal of risk. And when you're older, do you want to take that much risk? Maybe not. So that's why starting early is really important. Another aspect, another challenge is kind of your health in a way that could be an impediment for you to kind of reach your particular goals. So you want to take care of yourself, all right, and also have the kind of the right coverage, right insurance coverage, so that should something happen, right, should you become disabled, should you have some type of an illness, it doesn't derail your plan, right? So that you're still able, even though, I'm not able to contribute for about a year or so, but I've got this great coverage that will, continue to generate income, and I'll be able to continue to save even though I'm not currently working at the moment.
So what you're saying is that take care of yourself. I need to start walking on the golf course.
That is correct. That is correct.
There's significant challenges, as you mentioned there. But I think one of the easiest ways to eradicate some of those challenges is working with a financial advisor. So then my next question, which I think is the most pertinent and the most important question that I'm going to ask, is how do you as Tomachek Financial help clients to achieve those retirement goals? How do you work with those clients?
The most important thing that we do is get to understand them. We meet with them face to face or via Zoom, depending on where they are. And we have kind of that initial meeting, lasts roughly sometimes an hour and a half. And all we talk about is your goals, what's important to you, right? And by getting a good understanding of the client's goals, right, what is important to them, and kind of clarifying in terms of short-term, medium-term, and long-term goals. That way we could work together. This is a team, so it's not just Pierre, there's a team behind me, and also I work collaboratively with the clients to understand their needs, and then create a plan together to ensure that we meet their goals, and then eventually, on a regular basis, update that plan. Let it be at the very least on an annual basis or based on their life goals. If there's a new baby being born, getting married, then we may need to update.
And then you mentioned that 10% return that you probably would need. Working with an advisor who knows some of the things that the market can do, how to allocate your portfolio in terms of balancing it, those are critical because you need that kind of somebody monitoring it and understanding that, like, this is what might happen in the market. your advisor can be able to shield some of that risk in losing that significant amount of money that you want to invest.
The one thing I would say, working with us, 10% return, that's not a projection that I use, because that's pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
My clients tend to be a bit more conservative.
Right.
So in terms of projections, we look more at a moderate or balanced type of rate of return.
Right.
I don't want you to lose all your hair, worrying
it's
about.
Already great.
I know, and it's already gone for me with regards to what's happening with the market. Right. So we want to make sure that we create a portfolio that will generate, moderate to balanced return with less volatility, so that you could sleep, at night and still meet your particular goals. And your financial advisor, let it be at the bank, credit union, independent advisors, by working with them, they'll create the right investment portfolio for you based on your risk tolerance and investment objectives.
Excellent. And I think that's really the point to drive home, that working with financial advisors can help you and better prepare you for retirement, which is, of course, a really rocky road in getting there. And recapping, start early.
Yes.
Take care of yourself. Ensure that you're working with your financial advisor to understand your goals and your long-term lifestyle that you want to have or maintain during retirement. And all in all, that works in getting yourself ready for retirement.
Exactly. Starting early, probably the best advice that and do it incrementally. You don't have to start investing $1,000. Whatever little amount that you have, let it be $25, $50 a month. Let's start now building that. Exactly. And let's start building that process so that you feel comfortable with 50, and then maybe, 3 months, 4 months later, we're able to increase that to maybe 100. And then over time, we'll get to where the exact amount that you need to be.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching today. That has brought us to the end of our episode. That's all we have to share today with you. We're out of time, but we'll be back next week to talk more with. Well, hopefully Pierre is going to be back next week. I miss him. I like this. But we had wonderful guests over that period of time, and we really appreciate that. But we're happy to have you as always. Take care. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and drop your questions in the comment box so we can ask them, because we're going to be launching a new thing on our YouTube video. We'll tell you more next week. Pierre doesn't know. He's in the dark. But we're going to tell him next week. Stay with us.